So in case you don't know who Vic Mignogna is, he's a voice actor for Funimation, and also he's on RWBY, which is this YouTube show. I want to make it very clear to everyone, I'm not a Vic Mignogna fangirl or anything. I didn't even know who he was until the story broke out. But basically the idea is all these fans of his have been coming out with photos and saying, oh, he acted really creepy around us, he was inappropriate at cons. An anime news network basically pushed this story, and that's when it really exploded a bit, and Funimation and Rooster Teeth both fired him before all the facts actually came out. Now, before I go over the article and the pictures and the evidence against him, I wanted to bring you back a little bit, because this is not actually the first time Vic has been attacked. An event that was more prominent that happened a little while back was when someone came up to him with some yaoi fan art of what I believe was like one of his characters and another character, and he said that he didn't feel comfortable signing it. And so he signed something else of hers, and then that was it. But from there, they figured, oh, you're not comfortable with yaoi? What are you, homophobic? And so all these rumors had started about him. Like, apparently there was this big rumor. Not only did he refuse to sign it, but he yelled at the girl, and then, like, he yelled at the person who made the fan art. Like, he went over to somebody else's booth and started yelling at them like he was going to beat them up because, oh my gosh, Vic is so homophobic. But here's what actually happened. Through Vic's own words, here's what actually happened.
And somebody brought up yaoi for me to sign, and I said exactly what I always say. Oh, sweetie, I'd really rather not sign this, but if you'd like me to sign something else, I'll be happy to. So she gave me something else, and with her, beside her, was this girl who made this this little statue of one of my characters. And no, she didn't make it, she gave it to me, and I recognized the artwork, the style of this little sculpture, and I said, is she here? And she said, yeah, she's right over there, and she pointed over to Artist Alley, and the girl was standing over there at her table waiting. And I immediately went over there, and went up to the girl and said, I love what you made. And the girl said, would you record a video? We are doing a fun little sarcastic parody called Voice Actor Wars. Would you do like a recording of you challenging Aaron Dismuke to a fight? And I'm like, sure, tell me when you're rolling. And she went, now. And I went, come on, Aaron, what's up? You want some of this?
That makes a lot more sense to me than he freaked out at an anime con because someone showed him a yaoi picture. I mean, come on, it's an anime con. They're everywhere. But this is just an example of someone who didn't really like Vic or didn't really like his view on yaoi, like, oh, if you don't like it, you must be homophobic, and so tried to twist that around and make him seem like a bad person, and that's how, like, this big rumor started. But it's not even the only situation where he's, like, been forward about how he feels about yaoi. He actually, like, made another statement at a con. He basically just said, hey, I know some of you girls really like yaoi. I'm not into it. It's not my thing, but it's okay if you like it. I don't hold any grudge against you, so please don't hold any grudge against me. And then there was this other moment in a con where people were asking Vic questions, and one of the questions that a girl had was if these two characters were gay. To which he answered, honestly, no. No, they're not. And if there's anything that we learned from the Bert and Ernie situation, it's that shippers get very mad when you say two characters are not gay. Now, first of all, I want to get this out there already. Just because you don't like yaoi does not mean you're homophobic. Second of all, I don't believe that you should rely on a voice actor to support your shipping. I don't understand what's with these shipping wars. Why do they freak out whenever someone doesn't support their ship? Like, people have different interpretations of characters. People have different preferences, what they feel comfortable with, what they don't. And frankly, it's just part of life that you just have to accept that from other people. Just accept that other people are different. What's more, Vic is also Christian. So people just have that dangling on a thread like that supports their theory that he's homophobic. But none of that stuff was a problem before. None of that stuff really led to this firing that we got going on here. It was this Anime News Network article, and I guess other articles. And in this article, they have a bunch of photos of Vic hugging fans and taking photos with them, and a couple of allegations that these were actually very uncomfortable situations. So the idea is that when they were taking these photos with Vic, when they were standing in line to have these photos taken with them, with Vic, they didn't want Vic to hug them, and they didn't want Vic to, like, kiss them on the cheek or whatever he's doing in these photos. So here's the article, and they had a bunch of these pictures. Here's one of the ones that's supposed to be, like, big evidence that he's harassing this girl, because this idea is he's taking this photo with her, and it's very obviously a pose. This is very obviously a pose. You can see that he's crouching down to be eye level with her. And apparently the problem with this photo is that he's putting his hand underneath her sweatshirt, which happens accidentally all the time when you go to hug somebody. Sometimes the sweatshirt's open and you just accidentally put your hand underneath there. It's not that big of a deal. But what's more, you can't really say that this isn't a pose. You can't really say that you didn't want him to hug you in this situation. You're putting your hand, like, on his shoulder like this. His arm over here, he can't really lift it over on your shoulder too without being awkward, so he has to put it on your waist. He's not going to put it on your chest, because that would be actual sexual harassment. And supposedly the story behind this is she thought the photo was done, but then the camera person, whoever the camera person was, she doesn't really talk about that. The camera person went all the way up to them nice and close, and he told her to look into the camera, and then he kissed her on the cheek. Basically, the idea is that she didn't know he was going to kiss her on the cheek, but I'm reasonably skeptical of that. First of all, if someone's saying, no, let's take a close-up picture, look into the camera, and he's like, got his nose to your face like this, it's almost like a dead giveaway that he's going to kiss you on the cheek. Even if this happened the way that she said it happened, then this is basically a dead giveaway. But also, like I said, they're posing for the picture. So you can see very clearly in this picture, this one's a little bit blurry, right? But this picture is very, very still. Meaning he had his lips on her for a long enough time for them to take the picture without it moving, without it being blurred. Meaning that she never backed away from him. She never said, no, wait, I don't want that. It takes a while to take the picture. If he was doing, like, 3 poses with her, it probably took roughly a minute to actually take all these pictures. We all know how pictures work, right? You take one, it's blurry. Gotta take another one. Oh, you blinked. Take another one. So it just seems bizarre to me that this pose was unplanned, and yet it's an unblurry picture and a close-up. What's more, her face is blurred out, but you can tell that she's smiling. Especially in this picture, you can tell the glow of her cheeks are all the way up here, which means that she's smiling. And they go on to talk about, oh, well, apparently he gave somebody his real phone number. And then you have, like, some audio of him, upon the girl's request, repeating some lines to her. And this is supposed to be their evidence against him being a sexual harasser. It's not very good. But even if all of this was true, it wouldn't look so fake if all this spicy information didn't come out afterwards. So what happened afterwards is one of the people in this private Facebook group, these people who were together trying to take down Vic Mignogna, because, you know, they didn't like him and they wanted him to get fired, which I talked about before. And part of the ways that they planned to get him fired was sending in these pictures of him with women, and they thought that maybe we could Photoshop these pictures to make it look like he was too friendly with them. Maybe we could Photoshop this evidence and make it look like he's sexually harassing women. And one of the people in this chat, in this whole Facebook group, they didn't feel right about using fake evidence to get somebody fired, so they ended up leaking the Facebook chat. But once again, this is just proof that there was a group of people who were coordinating together to get Vic fired. And once more, one of the pictures that Anime News Network used in this article. I believe that they've taken it down since then, but one of the pictures that they used, the girl in the picture came out on Facebook and said, "Whoa, whoa, 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 that's my picture. Why are you spreading this fake story about me?" And she goes on to say that Anime News Network narrates this story about her and how she never gave consent to Vic. She 100% gave consent to Vic. She asked for that photo. She asked him to hug him and kiss him. And she does not want any part in this campaign against him to get him fired. And she wishes the best for Vic. So the story that Anime News Network was sharing with her picture was a fake story. Basically what that means is people are sending in these pictures who were never in the pictures. They're sending somebody else's pictures along with a story, a fake story about how that's them in the picture and how I felt so uncomfortable around Vic at that time. But it's not really you. I would never do that to somebody. I would never send a photo, a fake photo that's not even mine, to a news source and say, here's a photo of me and Vic, and he sexually harassed me, and I had proof of it, and da-da-da-da-da. It's really scary that people are doing this, and knowing that this is happening, I think that anyone who's a fan of Vic Mignogna, anyone who's had photos with him, you should check out the article to make sure it's not you in these pictures, to make sure that nobody misused one of your photos and blurred out your face, because this is real. People are actually using somebody else's photos to spread a false story about Vic, and that's really scary. And especially if you're a fan of Vic, probably upload this video late, but one of the most recent stories has to do with some people who Vic has worked with who are now kind of coming out against him. So basically there's the one girl, Monica, and I know that she voices like Froppy from My Hero Academia, so right in the heart. But she's coming out and she's saying, I had this inappropriate situation with Vic a long time ago. I'm not going to say what it is, but later on I'll tell you about it. And Chris is over here like, yeah, I'm friends with Monica, so I'll believe whatever she says. And then Neil is over here like, I never liked Vic anyway. Sure, I don't care about him, let's just get him fired. Apparently the reason Neil doesn't like Vic is because he was late to a con. No, I'm not making this up. And then there's this other girl that Neil knows who said that he sexually harassed her. And Vic made a whole apology about this, basically saying that he's always been super friendly with people, especially with his fans. He's always let people be super friendly with him. He never meant to make anyone feel uncomfortable in these situations. And if he did, he's sorry. He goes on to talk about how you can kind of get lazy when you're taking photos with people again and again and again and again. So what he would do, what he admits to doing, is that he would just automatically, almost like robotically, hug someone and pose for the picture even before they get a chance to say, hey, I want to do this, or hey, I want to do that. He would just automatically, arms around him, okay, smile, all right, next.
Just because 1,000 people want to hug doesn't mean everybody does. And I got really lazy. Over the years, I got really lazy. And I got used to being the same person all the time. And I was insensitive to the fact that there could be people out there that don't want that. And it has never, ever been my intention to offend or hurt anyone.
Now, I understand this, 100%. Anyone who's ever gone to a con or ever had like a photo with somebody famous can understand this. After a while, it just becomes instinct to pose for a photo with somebody and then go on with your life. If you're so used to hugging your fans, that's just the pose that you get used to doing for the photo. For example, me and Adam once saw the Impractical Jokers in a mall, so everyone was going up to them and getting pictures taken, and there was like a whole crowd of people, and after a while they just were like, okay, no more pictures, and everyone started packing up and going away. But Adam knew that he had to get a picture with me and one of them. So he went up to Mur with his phone and he's like, hey, real quick, can you just... And like before he even had the chance to finish his sentence, Mur just instinctively took his phone, wrapped his arm around Adam, lifted it, and took a selfie with us. And then afterwards, of course, he gave back Adam his phone. He was like, no problem. And then he packed it on and went on his way. Now note, Adam never gave him permission to take his phone. He never gave him permission to touch him on the arm or wrap his arm around him, but it's just instinct. It's instinct to take that photo, take that same pose. It's obvious that Vic doesn't really see kisses on the cheek as being sexual in any way. Friendly reminder, he's not a fan of yaoi. No, it's like your grandmother kissing you on the cheek. Sure, I get it. Not everyone wants the grandmother to kiss them on the cheek. I wouldn't. I mean, I don't want someone to spit on my cheek, but there's also apparently some people who are taking advantage of the situation, trying to use it to kickstart their careers by saying that Vic sexually assaulted them. Don't do that. I don't know what Monica's story is. I'll figure that out as we go along. Maybe she has a real claim to her allegations, but she's coming out on Twitter, which isn't really the best. Even if the allegations are real, that's not the best place to come out with these allegations. She's to go to the police. And she's coming out after the allegations of him posing with girls and how that's sexual harassment. So if she's saying that the sexual harassment that she had was equivalent to that, then it's basically a nothing story. But I really do genuinely feel bad for Vic. I don't think that he deserves this treatment. I don't think that he deserved to get fired. It's really annoying that people are holding Vic to this new standard of allegations. Always believe women. That's the new standard of allegations. And if that's the case, then they can't both be telling the truth now, can they? And I don't think people should feel guilty about doubting these stories. They have every reason to. People are probably looking at me like I'm the crazy one here. And I know that some people might be uncomfortable with this story, so they'll probably be trying to avoid it at all costs. But as far as this whole thing goes, it's a see something, say something type deal. What I see right now is injustice, and I want it set right. So I'm not gonna just sit around and keep my mouth shut about it. Funimation and Rooster Teeth should have waited for the facts to come out. Then they would have seen that there were people who were making stuff up. So sorry for the depressing video. It's a depressing topic, but I'm wishing the best for Vic, and I hope more information comes out so we can get the full story about what the hell is going on here. Hope you guys have a better day than he's having, and I'll see you next time. Bye!
When you're in forums or on websites where people are being hurtful and hateful and making up lies about people, take a stand for what's right. Well, you would be so hurt if somebody who you didn't even know was saying mean things just to get attention, just to cause you trouble. So I would like to encourage you guys to try to be the voice of kindness and support doing the right thing.
Program restart.